There is a story you've heard before, but today you're going to feel it differently. A man failed, not
Thank
once,
you, but I need
not
to
10
finish this
times,
alone.
not 100 times. He failed 1,000 times before the world ever called him a genius. And here's the truth you must understand today. The world only celebrates the moment it works. Nobody applauds the 1,000 attempts that didn't. But those 1,000 attempts, that's where the real success was built. You see, most people don't fail because they are incapable. They fail because they quit emotionally before they quit physically. The first setback hurts their confidence. The second shakes their belief. The third convinces them they are not a mentor for success. But the people who change the world, they interpret failure differently. They don't say, this didn't work, so I can't do it. They say, this didn't work, so now I know one more way that won't stop me. That's power. Failure is not the opposite of success. You didn't walk perfectly the first time. You didn't speak perfectly the first time. You didn't succeed perfectly the first time. But you kept going because quitting wasn't an option. Somewhere along the way, you grew up and started fearing failure. You started protecting your ego instead of building your future. And that's where dreams die. The man who failed 1,000 times wasn't smarter than you. He wasn't luckier than you. He simply refused to interpret failure as a final answer. He saw it as information. He saw it as progress. He saw it as a stepping stone. Most people try once and stop. A few people try 10 times. Very rare people try 100 times. Legends try until it works. So the real question is not why did he succeed? The real question is, why did he refuse to stop? Because he understood something you must understand today. Pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. Every time you fail, you are one step closer to figuring it out. Every time you get rejected, you are refining your approach. Every time something doesn't work, you are getting sharper, stronger, and more prepared. Failure is not punishment. Failure is training. And the reason most people never reach greatness is because they are not willing to go through the training. They want the reward without the repetition. They want the result without the resistance. But life doesn't work that way. The breakthrough comes after the breaking point. That moment when you feel like you've tried enough, when you feel tired, when you feel discouraged, when you feel like maybe this just isn't for you. That is the exact moment where success is waiting on the other side. Failure is feedback, not defeat. The moment you understand this, your entire life changes. Most people experience failure and immediately attach a meaning to it. I'm not good enough. This isn't for me. I should stop before I embarrass myself again. But failure is not a verdict on your ability. It is information. It is data. It is a message telling you what didn't work so you can move one step closer to what will. Think like a scientist, not a victim. A scientist runs experiments knowing many of them will fail. But each failed experiment reveals something valuable. Each one eliminates a wrong path and points toward a better one. In the same way, every mistake you make is narrowing the gap between where you are and where you want to be. The only real defeat happens when you refuse to learn from the experience. When something doesn't go your way, don't ask, why did this happen to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? That single shift in thinking turns frustration into growth. It turns disappointment into direction. It turns setbacks into stepping stones. Instead of feeling crushed by failure, you become curious about it. You start analyzing it. You start improving because of it. The most successful people are not those who avoid failure. They are those who collect lessons from it. They understand that every rejection sharpens their skills. Every mistake improves their judgment. And every setback strengthens their resilience. Failure is simply the training ground for success. When you stop fearing it and start learning from it, you gain a powerful advantage that most people never discover. Persistence beats talent every single time. Talent may give someone a head start, but persistence determines who finishes the race. You can be naturally gifted, intelligent, or skilled, but if you stop when things get hard, that talent becomes useless. On the other hand, an average person with relentless determination can outperform the most talented individuals simply because they refuse to quit. Look at any area of life, business, sports, studies, creativity, and you will find the same pattern. The ones who succeed are not always the smartest or the most gifted. They are the ones who show up again and again, especially on the days when they don't feel like it. They keep working when motivation fades. They keep practicing when results are slow. They keep pushing when progress seems invisible. Talent might open a door, but persistence keeps you walking through the hallway when it gets dark and uncertain. There will be moments when you feel stuck, tired, and discouraged. This is where most people stop. They convince themselves that maybe they don't have what it takes. But the truth is, success is rarely about what you have. It's about how long you are willing to continue without seeing immediate rewards. Persistence builds discipline. Discipline builds skill. Skill builds confidence. And confidence creates success. Each time you continue despite difficulty, you strengthen your ability to endure challenges. You become mentally tougher, emotionally stronger, and more focused on your goals. If you commit to staying in the game longer than anyone else, you automatically increase your chances of winning. Not because you are more talented, but because you are more determined to keep going when others choose to stop. Emotional strength creates success. It is not your skills, resources, or intelligence that determine how far you go in life, but how well you manage your emotions when things don't go your way. Anyone can stay positive when life is easy. The real test comes when you face rejection, criticism, delay, and disappointment. In those moments, your emotional control becomes your greatest asset. Most people lose not because they lack ability, but because they allow frustration, fear, and doubt to take control of their decisions. They react emotionally instead of responding intelligently. One bad result ruins their mood. One negative comment shakes their confidence. One delay makes them lose patience. And slowly, their emotional reactions start destroying the progress they worked so hard to build. Emotional strength means staying calm when you feel pressure. It means believing in yourself when nobody else does. It means continuing to work when you feel discouraged. It means choosing discipline over feelings and focus over frustration. When you learn to control your emotions, you stop being a victim of circumstances and start becoming the master of your actions. Successful people feel fear, disappointment, and stress just like everyone else. The difference is they don't allow those emotions to decide their future. They acknowledge them, learn from them, and keep moving forward anyway. They understand that emotions are temporary, but decisions have long-term consequences. When you build emotional strength, you gain the power to stay consistent. You stop quitting on bad days. You stop doubting yourself after small setbacks. You develop resilience that allows you to push through challenges with clarity and confidence. This inner stability becomes the foundation on which real lasting success is built. Learn, adjust, and try again. Growth happens when you continue despite difficulty, doubt, and fatigue. The breaking point is where excuses lose their power. It is where you discover what you are truly made of. In this space, you stop relying on motivation and start relying on commitment. You act not because you feel inspired, but because you have decided that quitting is not an option. This decision creates momentum that carries you through the hardest phases of your journey. Many people never see success because they misinterpret this stage. They think the struggle means they are failing, when in reality it means they are very close to succeeding. The challenge is to take one more step when everything in you wants to stop. If you can train yourself to move forward in these moments, you unlock a level of strength most people never experience. That final effort, made when you feel empty, is often the one that changes everything.